Hello, hello. Welcome back to tonight's game. Today we are chewing on a bit more of The Last Caretaker, a survival crafting game set in a flooded Earth. We're not out on the ocean at the moment, however, we are at Exodus Station, which is late game content, or at least late game as it stands now in early access, where you need to bring your human pods to put them in the rocket and blast the rocket off to space to join the rest of humanity, which is great, except there's this thing sitting here that needs to be taken care of. It is possible to sneak around it. However, if you sneak around it without paying attention to what you're doing and it wakes up, you're going to get surprised. I got surprised by it. Not fun. The first time I came through here. So we are going to annoy it. Oh yeah. And now we run. Put the gun away. Yep. Run. Run. Jump. It is going to follow us. And what I'm hoping to do by this, two things. First of all, by being over here, I am closer to the heal station. And I have somewhere to duck. And I can keep it hopefully out of the way of the angels. Come on, there we go. There we go. Come on. There we go. Oop. Yeah, you can see it's taking some hits. Doesn't really seem to take any hits unless, okay, you are rude. If you duck back in here, it will sometimes go inside. You do not want to shoot one of the angels while it's in the way. Now see, it's coming back out. And the sun is going down. Ooh. I wonder. Connect you to the rifle. Do I have enough? Well, I have enough. Okay. So grab cable. We are going to build 5 cables. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, see, it goes back. It'll come back if we go outside again. But this is a fairly safe space. So we need 3 more cables. I'm going to connect our battery. We have a Lumimax on the ceiling. That's me pointing to the ceiling, by the way. We have a battery inside, which I have been filling off of. I repaired the 2 Lumimaxes over here, and I repaired the 2 wind turbines because we're going to need plenty of power. I'm going to connect you and connect the rifle. Pull the rifle out. And wiggle over here. There it comes. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Fresh robot. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, it likes sitting. Oh, for crying out loud. Get out of the way. I suspect it can't get me from there, but I also suspect that I'm not really making too much of a dent on it. Because the railing is more substantial than you'd think, apparently. All right. Ooh, yeah, see, there it can get me. Well, for crying out loud. I was trying to let my gun. Up. There we go. All right. I know that was a little hard to see there at the beginning, or at the end. Are you chilling? Are you chilling? Okay. Move you. What? What is down there? I think these rollerballs spit out sweethearts. The little baby robots. I think you have too many of them wandering around. They spit out sweethearts. All right. So that is how you take care of the rollerball on the rocket platform. Another way to do it might be if you were connected here, get up on the railing here, and then you can get up here. And I'll bet you if you park yourself around here, now you couldn't get downstairs if you really took a hit. You'd have to jump back down. And you would jump down there carefully. You must not jump straight off the platform. And then you could get inside. The health station is on the lower floor of this station. Another thing that you could do is to duck in and out of this door a lot and hide in here. And then you would be right next to the health station. But you would need to go upstairs if you wanted to use the power. So, a couple of different ways to do it. Now, I move my 40 hold over here. This has all of the resources that I've managed to create from there. So, turn on you. You're at full power. And you're just going to do a quick sweep of this area. And then make sure there's nothing else. You all lined up to get whacked. Yeah. There you go. Four things. Yeah, I'll bet you he's over here creating this. And then just it died and it left them. Okay. The way that you know if the angels have gone hostile is if they have a red light in front. There are some batteries around here. There are some canisters around here. And there are some spitters around here. These could do with the repair. This all comes into play when you need to fuel the rocket, particularly this thing, which is called a saboteur reactor. And so you're going to dismantle the skidder. No, I'm going to hit you on the end. I'm using my electrical and my they're not exactly non-lethal, but the less noisy. All right. I'm just kind of tanking these because I am trying to avoid. All right, that's the sun. That's the moon going down. That's the sun coming up. I'm trying to avoid them. There are 2 more roller balls over here. They do not shoot laser beams. They shoot machine guns. You're going to need to have this up here, though. That's the hole. Don't fall in the hole. You'd be surprised. She says, having fallen in the hole. Now, the other thing that I want to test before I bring the humans over here is the elevator. Does the elevator work? It does. All right, so there are 2 ways to get the humans to the top of the rocket. One is to take them up the stairs. I go up to the ramp, around the corner, up the stairs, round and round and round she goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 landings at the top, or you can use the elevator. But the elevator does not work if the power station has not been turned off. So you have to do that first before you bring your humans over, or your humans have to sit over here waiting for someone to get around to them. So, order of operations at Exodus. Pull up and duck around the edge of the, it'll be the right-hand side if you're facing the front door. There's a power station. Set up the power station. I put a MIDI solar panel and a battery inside the power station so that it kind of got coverage during the night. Then you have to open the door to the departures area. Or they call it arrivals when you look at it in the security. I guess people are arriving from wherever they've come from. It's essentially a lounge. You sat in the lounge, you waited for your turn to get on the rocket, is the world building, as I understand it. There is a lot of slime on the inside. There is a bunch of spitters that spit little sweethearts. And if you cleared that space, then the internal elevator works. The internal elevator is necessary to bring the human pods up to this level. There's no other way. You can parkour your robot up here if you really try. And at a certain point, there are ladders, but only to a certain point. The game really needs you to clear that one room. It's almost a soft lock space. You have to get through it. As far as I've been able to tell, you have to get through it because you need to you can't put these into your inventory. They have to be carried. So if you put them into you get them as far as that elevator back there. I left them back there while I came over here because I knew that Rollerboi was on the rocket platform and I didn't want to be wandering around the rocket platform, accidentally annoy it, and then have to deal with it without any warning. So I came over here. I went off to the left. I found the power station that is attached to the rocket platform. And that gave me the resources that I needed to repair all of the power generation that's over there, which we're going to need anyways. And then to turn on the power for the rocket platform. Be brave, it says. Okay. Now, we have...
Of everything humanity hoped for. The rocket sleeps, but not for much longer. Prepare its systems for a successful launch.
All right, so it has solved one quest and given me another. If you follow these little traffic cones, they lead you to the stairs. Bring the human pod up the stairs. Angels may get interested, but will not do anything to you. And we're going to drop the pod here. We're going to go back for the others. If you don't have the elevator working, like I said, you have to go down and around, take the ramp up to the stairs, and take the stairs up to the top. It is possible to do that. I did it once. It's not fun. I've chosen to bring 3 pods because I am treating this almost as endgame at this moment. The game is early access. I suspect that at the very end, once everything has been added into the game and they've got all the pieces, this is actually going to represent mid-game. And there is more to come. Some of the math is not quite making sense to me. Not those math specifics. Like, I'm not trying to calculate just how many kilowatts are needed, but like, if human beings had been pushed to the edge of extinction, then one rocket every so often with 3 pods every so often is not going to cut it. You know, like humanity will have died off a long time ago. There's also been suggestions that there have not been any rockets for a very long time, that there was a gap between we are a caretaker, and there was a gap between our activation, so to speak, and the last time there were any human pods sent up to the stations, which makes me suspect that there may not be anyone left on the stations if that is how we roll in, because just of how babies are made and the average rate of baby making and the average number of babies in order to keep a healthy population going, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But who knows? I am not a scientist. I'm sure some very smart people who've done the math on this. So, watch the rocket in all its lovely rockety glory. I did manage to sneak up here once, and recall correctly, there is another bit of this. It's not necessary. What have we got up here, Gabby? We have some resources. We have a robot friend. We have a grenade. We could drop that grenade onto one of those beasties. Probably just to accidentally blow up the angels. I keep calling them the manatees. All right, fine. And we'll take you downstairs. Now we are over encumbered because we looted the battery instead of God. Connect to self. Thank you. All right, so we have 3 pods. This will not extend until there is some kind of power to the system. Go ahead and goodbye, robot friend. Looking away. Goodbye, robot friend. And they have gotten just far enough. And we're going to... we gotta shimmy out there and open the door. No power. There is no power to the rocket. The rocket door will not open. All right. You're going to put you up here so you have a lovely view of what is going on. Take the elevator back down. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and dump off all of my scrap. See, this is the point at which I activated the rolling ball the very first time. And there is a number of things to dismantle over here. There are, this is where the rollerball sits usually. There are also a number of battery packs and canisters scattered around. However, I think what I am going to do is simply make some cord and take the power, the electrical power from over here, where it's going to ultimately end up. So we have you. Yep. Now, this is all of my power generation. It is going to a thing up there. Let's also drop. Okay, grabbed it. Now let us build 5 over here. We're going to need, honestly, we're going to need everything that's in here. Are we able to carry this? Yes, we are. So let's get some plastic and iron. Iron. There we go. Leave the rest of it here. I'm going to walk over to the rocket and I'll show you where the rocket plugs in. Get up to the rocket. You need to get up to the ramps. I don't think that elevator stops on that level. So we will come over here and jump on top of you. And jump on top of you. Here we go. No, there is, but there's not a call button. If you time it right, you could stop here. So these are the spaces that you use to fuel the rocket. There are 3 things that have to go into it. One is methane. One is oxygen, and I'll show you how those get sorted in a minute. The other is the electricity. So we are just going to go ahead and drop ourselves down. Carry you as far as you can go. Just fine over here. Now, part of the very end game of this is to be constantly coming back and forth here. In which case, you are probably going to want to neaten up your electrical wiring at some point. But we are going to lowball it. bio-based stuff. Over here. There, do I have enough to come over here? Yes. There. There. Go. Now this should be pulsing towards the rocket. I'm go ahead and close you. Oh, I have a bunch of skill points that I should be allocating as well. And we are going to need all of this in order to fix what has to be fixed over on the other side. In fact, let's put a bunch of this over here. Yeah, very happy. It's going to get caught. And can we pick up as high as possible? There we go. All right. Park this over here. Still not activated the critters. That was another battery that we passed on the way. I'll park you right about there. All right, now. We need more materials. You are good to go. You are good to go. All right, so when the time comes, that might need it to be over here. We are taking the elevator back up. Put our pods in the container. You can do this, well, you have to have things like power circuit, but you could leave the human pods back at the boat until you're ready. Do not fall off the game. 1, 2, 3 little sockets for the pods in here. And yes, you can leave the pods back in the boat until everything is fueled, or you can bring them over in stages. I like to have them in here and ready to go. Well, I don't have to. My sweet little humans, so that I don't have to come up back and forth. Is there like a screen so that the little human pods can watch? Okay, so there are a bunch of these scattered around, but this one is here. We are slowly building electricity. If you look over to the right, it says electricity 7.6 out of 60. The cargo, which is Lazarus 1, 2, and 3, are attached. The door is open. The connections are disconnected. So what does all that mean? Obviously, the Lazarus pods are these, the human pods, the seats. The door is open. We close you. We're going to retract you because we don't need you anymore. And when you come back here, you say door closed. So all of this essentially needs to be greened out or X'd out or in the state that the computer wants it to be, which means that the fuel, methane, and electricity have to be full. The pods have to be in the rocket tip, and all of the items have to be closed. Some of them are open downstairs because what has to happen next is we have to fuel them. What it's referring to when it says the items are open are these little flaps on the outside. You can see there. And they are open because we're plugging stuff into them at this point. Okay. So what do we got? We got half an hour now. And we're going to, actually, let's just do those. So we can come down here. And we need to repair and refill all of these tanks. Repairing that is pretty easy. It has some left in it. Now we're going to need more resources. So let's take a bunch of stuff back to the recycler. It says I'm over encumbered. That is because I need to reprop tanks. If you look around, there are cables. This is also going to need to be repaired. We do have enough, just barely. Iron is about to become a problem. So you want to pull these all the way back over here when you find them. If you have any on the boat, go ahead and keep an eye on it. You are still passive because I haven't been down there. Here we go. There's some cable. Loop that cable. Get rid of this. You're overweight, but we're going to pick up a few more scraps as we go because we want to take it back. So you can wait until we come back. This is similar to Lazarus in that there's just a whole lot of stuff going on. We're going to go ahead and pop you in there. Do I have another one? And it is going to semi-fill. These hold 9,000. And I believe you need 12 in order for the rocket to go in. So we're going to have to create some more oxygen, and we definitely need more methane. Methane is something that is very difficult to find lying about. There are no canisters of methane. What you will do is you will see that this reactor has a methane output, and it has 4 oxygen outputs. And so I think what I figured was that I was going to need one more oxygen tank. It's kind of a 4-to-1 exit of here, but then you end up using the methane right away in order to launch the rocket. So there's a lot of stuff that has to happen. This, though, is going to need more iron oxide. So you're going to take... Oh, come here, poor baby. There you go. Stuck on the stairs this whole time. After I annoyed something, it is generating. There are also creatures. There's a down below. There's an underneath this platform. I wouldn't advise investigating the hole in the center too closely. There's a whole bit underneath this platform. And I'm going to come over here and bleed off a little bit of this in order to make more stuff. Do I have... What's the status of my battery? See, my battery is been drained because it's all going into other items at the moment. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on my battery as I do this. Might have to go back to the ship. Pick it up. There we go. Or make use of some of the batteries that are lying around. Or, all right, fine. And this is why I use the dismantle tool. I kind of hate carrying things around. But it sucks up battery. And if you're in a space where you need your battery because you're charging your rocket, it's a problem. Why, another reason why I like to get this all sorted early on, because then the battery can charge in fits and starts just based on that. Can probably be dismantled as well. Yeah, you can be done. You can be done. Take all of our stuff back over to where we came from. And repair the methane tank. And, well, let's repair the salvaging reactor first. Where did I spot that better? There's stuff in all of this. All of the containers. There's some friends over here. In fact, I may want to charge up before I repair this because it is going to take some electricity. So, you in there. Wow. Right. Yeah. Want to repair you. Oh, you want more iron. Greedy gut. Can repair you yet? No. Oh, we're going to need all sorts of iron. Okay. Definitely need to charge up then. All right. You can also go feed the oxygen tank. Methane is at this moment the issue because nothing gets moving without methane. Want plastic and fabric. You are just plain old scrap. You are just plain old scrap. It almost look like they're floating on something. They should be no resources here. I can remember there being more resources here. But I might be wrong. Alright, you're a metal. You have some metal and some plastic. You can, if you want, build a critter over here. A recycler over here, and not have to carry it back and forth. I don't mind carrying it back and forth. I need a lot of metal. I tend to leave the boxes for the end because they don't give as much. See, that is like floating. That's not. Hello, robot friend. Goodbye, robot friend. What's that? The boxes are useful for climbing up on things, and they also end up taking more electricity than they're really worth it. Right. So we still have one half of the platform, and there's a little bit down below before we go anywhere near the rest of it. And on. And save while we're waiting. Check on my battery. I'm pretty sure we're still fueling the rocket. Just enough is coming off and into here to keep the lights on over there. In fact, we could turn the lights off over here and then have that, but the lights on in case I have to come back. I won't turn that off so it's not pulling anything. Over encumbered again. I had leveled up and I can get the one standard bear. Bunch of grenades. We want the food. These supposedly do something that has to do with using less resources when you recycle and fabricate things, but I've never actually seen them work, so try. This is good if you are dealing with leeches because they will just freaking vaporize whatever leeches are in front of you. I have the sniper, but I don't have any sniper ammo until I level up one more. I was going to get my enhancers, and I can go ahead and give myself more carry weight. All right, I'm holding on to pressure just a little bit. And I really should improve my power management, but it's doing okay. I've not touched field medic, and shock absorber I'm pretty sure was a mistake. If I'm being honest, it was probably just me mispressing the button and not paying attention. But I now have more than enough room for all of the stuff that I am carrying. So let's come back over here. Do you want to build a saboteur reactor? So he says yes, but just barely. Ooh, and this is going to take a lot of energy. Okay. Now, you are not going to want to be fixed because you don't have enough iron. So, come on. put you in there, and we are going to go get. I can probably take my weapons out. Ooh, doors and stairs. Let me just look really quickly at our screen over here, and it is going to tell me how close we are to refueling that rocket. See, we're only at 12. This rocket takes a long time to refuel electricity. It wants 12,000 liters of oxygen, and it wants 3,000 liters of methane. So, even down here, you're not going to find that rolling rack. This is 6,000 liters of methane. So you really only need one methane tank. Methane is kind of a pain in the butt to make. So make as much of it as you can once we have this figured out. 9,000, which is 3,000 short, you could do with another oxygen tank over here. In fact, let me make sure that I have the skills to build an oxygen tank and a methane tank. That is the oxygen tank. That is the methane tank. You are a shot grenade. Where is the... I think the petrol tank is not for another two. Yeah. And these are new. And then there's a bunch of stuff. And then there's a bunch of stuff they haven't shown us yet. That are on those 3 bottom tiers. All right, so you're kind of backwards from where you need to be, if I'm being perfectly honest. Because all of the connectors to do things with you are on the other side, on the wrong side. So I almost want to dismantle you and put you the other way around so that this is where the oxygen and methane comes out, and it's kind of in a weird spot to actually connect to the tanks that are here. On the other hand, if you are not high enough level, do not dismantle the saboteur reactor, because it's the only one you've got until you've leveled up. All right, we're looking for things that are going to give us metal. Metal. And then we are keeping an eye on our battery. I could just go up there and interrupt the battery flow and steal a bit to top off. I might do that. Let's see. All right, metal and scrap. You are facing the wrong way. I don't think, you don't open. You're just decorative. All right. There is stuff also up these pylons. We'll deal with that later. Floating like there's something underneath them, but there's not. All right. You are an oxygen tank. Get you back and plug you in. Different things become different kinds of bottlenecks. There are a lot of things where, a lot of times when plastic, ironically, is a bottleneck, and end up searching everywhere for it. Yep. A little bit topped off of that. And 2 more back here. Nice. And we need the metal. So this is an in-betweeny bit. And I may wrap in a few. There's not a really good breakpoint. This is a spot where you have to go around, break down what you need, and fill the rockets. Now, the rocket, the use of the saboteur reactor is going to be the next thing that has to happen. That is really weird. Can you hear the soundtrack? The soundtrack almost never kicks in. We're just going to take you back. We'll deal with you over in the corner. So that is... The soundtrack almost never kicks in unless you're on the boat. And if you are on the boat and the boat is moving, but a lot of the time when you're dismantling and you're just kind of running around these areas like this, it's dead silence except for the sound of the dismantle tool or the fabricator or the dismantler. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take this back over. My goal is going to be to repair both the tanks that are over there and possibly get them connected to the reactor. And then the next step is going to be getting the reactor working. And that is going to be a bit more complex. I might have to run back to the boat for that. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it here with our friends flying overhead. And I will say thank you for watching. See you next time.